Hey, what's all happening here? It's me, Crazyfrankie, and I'd like to welcome you to my AFC and NFC division winner picks and who I believe which teams will be wild cards. This is going to be two-part video here. My first video, which is right now, we'll be talking about the AFC divisions and which teams I believe is going to be wild card picks. And then video number 2 will be dealing with the NFC as well as who I think will also be in the playoffs as wild cards. The regular season is finally here, and obviously every sports analysts and other websites and all, they've pretty much have made their predictions for the division winners as well as wild cards. And I'm late to the party. Yes, I understand that, but obviously I had a lot going on, and I was supposed to get this video done probably a week ago, but obviously I'm barely getting to it now. So this will probably be one of my lowest rated videos other than my week 18 special edition video. All right. I'm going to try to be brief with all of these picks here because I don't want to drag on and on. My goal is to try to keep these videos as short as possible and not to ramble too much here. All right. Let's get right to it. So let's begin with the AFC East. Now, the Bills have won this division the last 4 seasons. And are they going to win this division again? I don't think so. I look at the Bills situation, given the fact that Stephon Diggs is not there anymore. They've had some injuries during the preseason, losing some key defensive players to injury. And you got to wonder now going forward what this Bill team, I mean, personally to me, the season hasn't even started, but they look depleted. They really do. They've lost a lot, there's going to be even a ton of pressure now on Josh Allen. But you don't think for another reason too that Coach Sean McDermott could be on the hot seat this year if he doesn't get the Bills at least to the conference championship game. Maybe, well, obviously they want to get to the Super Bowl, but you got to wonder. You have to wonder where we're going to get out of the Bills. Now the Dolphins took the Bills to the limit last season. Obviously they came up short. The Bills ended up sweeping them last year to win the division. But there's no question that the Dolphins will be right at it. Given the tandem of Tua and Tyreek Hill, they should be able to get that offensive spark. And to me, they're still going to be a contender. And I also wonder about the Jets too. The question marks going into the season is obviously Aaron Rodgers and how healthy he is. I think that given if he's healthy, the Jets will be there. They're going to be in contention. Their defense has helped them a lot. Their defense was decent last year. They really kept them in football games. It's just that offensively, they just could not score points. Obviously, because they were missing a good quarterback. This is really a 3-team race in this AFC East. The Patriots are in the rebuilding mode. They're going to be one of the most horrible teams this year again. So there's no question who's going to win the AFC East. I think this year we're going to have a new division winner. I'm picking the Miami Dolphins. I think, to me, they finally get over the hump over Buffalo. They'll probably split the season series between them, and they'll probably split between the Jets. But I think the Dolphins will take the division on the final week of the regular season. I think, to me, they will become the division champs. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets and the Bills end up as playoff teams because they're still contenders going into this year, even though there's a lot of question marks on both those teams. But the Dolphins, I think, will finally win the AFC East. I think they'll win it this time. So Dolphins to win the AFC East. Going over to the AFC North. The Ravens won the division last season. It's been going back and forth between them and the Bengals for the AFC North. Where do the Ravens stand at this point? Well, Lamar Jackson is going to get some help in the running game. Derrick Henry, after being for a lot of years with the Titans, has now moved over to the Ravens. I think, to me, he's going to provide a spark on that running game, which the Ravens badly need going into this season, because that was one thing they were missing. Even though Lamar Jackson is mobile, but he needs a tandem to really get something going offensively, because defense-wise, they were depleted last season, and there was no way they could stop Patrick Mahomes and that offense last year in the AFC title game last season. But there's no question I see the Ravens more as a heavy favorite to win this division. But don't get me wrong on this though. The Bengals will be right at it though. Even though the Bengals did lose also some players in the offseason, but obviously they still have Chase. He's a big factor. That's basically your go-to guy. And it's really, obviously the more concern really is how is the health of Joe Burrow. But I think to me he's going to be healthy this season. As long as they protect him, the Bengals will definitely be in the conversation to win to go after the Ravens for the AFC North. But I just think the Ravens are a more better team in that division. And what about the Steelers and the Browns? Well, the Steelers, I don't know what we're going to get out of Russell Wilson, because from what I hear, Mike Tomlin's going to make him the starting quarterback for the Steelers. And I don't know what we're going to get out of Russell Wilson. And then who knows what Deshaun Watson and the Browns. Where do the Browns stand at this point? I don't know. I just don't see them as a contender. It's really a two-team race in the AFC North, but I'm going to pick the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're the more better team in this division. I think they're going to repeat as division champions here. I'm going to pick the Ravens to win the AFC North. AFC South. This is going to be pretty unanimous here, and this should be pretty quick here. The Texans are loaded offensively, and that's where Stefon Diggs from the Bills came in. He went to the Texans, and he's definitely going to help out the passing game for C.J. Stroud, an unexpected great season that the Texans had last year. And they will definitely be right at it. They are definitely going to be a huge division winner this year, because I really don't know where the Jaguars stand with Trevor Lawrence and that offense, given the fact Trevor Lawrence was hurt last season, and the Jaguars basically gave up the division to the Texans. It's really only a two-team race here. It's really between the Texans and the Jaguars, but the Texans are a more complete team than Jacksonville is. I don't know where the Colts stand. I think to me it's going to be a long season for them. The Titans are also going to be another bad season for them. It's really a two-team race in the AFC South, but the Texans, no question, are the more complete team in that division, and they will definitely be fighting for that number one seed. So, Texans to win the AFC South. And now going into the AFC West, which is one I watch very carefully here, but in reality, this is also pretty unanimous from every pundit. The Chiefs are the defending Super Bowl champion, the Chiefs. They're in a class unto themselves, and they're going for the three-peat. They're a more complete team. They're pretty much everybody's unanimous pick to win the AFC West. There's no question about it. I don't know what we're going to get with the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. You have to remember, the Chargers were the team that lost more than anybody in the offseason. They lost Eckler. They lost Keenan Allen. They lost Mike Williams. That is a lot that they lost in the offseason. And I don't know where Justin Herbert stands, given his health. Obviously, he's dealing with some injuries still. You got to wonder if Harbaugh can get this team going and really give Justin Herbert back to form. I really don't know. And what about the Broncos? They got a quarterback issue. I mean, Sean Payton is going to go with Nix to start. Let's see how that turns out for Denver. And for the Raiders, you got Minshew that's going to start a quarterback for them. So I don't know where the Raiders or the Broncos stand at this point. But obviously, the Chiefs are in a class of their own. They're going to easily win this division again. No, there's no stopping them. The Chargers are really their only competition, but it's not much going to change, really. The Chiefs will easily win the AFC West, plain and simple. All right, what about the three playoff teams? Who do I think is going to get in? Here are my three wildcard picks I think that will make the postseason. I'm going to say the Bengals, the Bills, and the Jets. Like I said earlier in the video, the Bengals are still a contender. Even though they did lose some players in the offseason and all, but Joe Burrow is much more healthier, and I still think he'll keep the Bengals in contention. The Bills, I'm not going to throw in the towel yet on Josh Allen and all that, even though they did lose a lot. They will find a way to get them in. They'll find a way to get into the postseason. To me, Josh Allen is really doing probably going to have to do a lot more. Probably have to do things all by himself now, given the fact that how good of a quarterback he is, even though he can't get over the hump against the Chiefs. But he'll find a way to get the Bills in the postseason. And if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy and that offense gets going and their defense stays intact that they did last season, the Jets will also be a playoff team. So there you go, my friends. Those are my picks in the AFC for who wins their divisions, as well as the 3 wildcard teams. So now, stay tuned for part 2 of my video, where I get into the NFC. So, until then, everybody, and I'll see you guys right back in my next video when we get into the NFC.